welcome to the Black View. I am your host, Sherry Soul. To my left is a co-host, Minister Taharka Shakur, the beautiful sister Brenda Robinson, and the wonderful legendary sax preacher. And we have a very special guest, the director and creator of the Black View, Jahi Atai. Yay! Welcome, brother. You're welcome. So today, you guys, we're gonna touch on some very interesting subjects. And remember that our opinions and views are just our own. We don't speak for all of the community. We don't speak for the cities and states that have our people. We just speak for ourselves. But it is the Black View. So we're hoping that you can be able to relate to our perspective and hopefully some way find a solution in the midst of it. But that being said,
before we get started,
yes.
If y'all don't mind, I just would like to speak to our last show episode that we shot, dealing with mental illnesses or behavior health.
Yes.
It's a real delicate subject, and I noticed that we didn't get a lot of views on this particular episode because I guess people just do not like, or black folks, I'll just put it like that. We don't like to deal with that subject matter. It's almost, you could probably put that in the same category as taboo subjects. You don't talk about politics, you don't talk about homosexuality, religion, and you might as well add mental illness to the list. Because, but it's so important because I really feel, and one of the reasons why we wanted to put the show on is because it's such a vital part of what we are experiencing in our communities.
Yes.
People are acting out, I have to use that terminology, acting out in a way that most people probably don't even recognize themselves. The things that they're doing, the way they think, the way they feel, and they don't know how to deal with it.
Right.
And another thing, I noticed dealing with Caucasian people, when they have a traumatic experience, such as like Columbine, they send in a team of psychologists.
Yes.
Immediately.
Yes. Immediately.
I mean, before the tape is clear, they send in these to talk to the kids and to make sure that they talk through this trauma. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, then it becomes a part of another thing that we have that we don't know about, a reactive mind.
Right.
That's something we're going to get into probably way down the line on one of our episodes. See, because we have a analytical or memory that's connected to our mind, and then we have a reactive mind that reacts to pain, suffering,
Absolutely.
and traumatic events.
Yes.
Caucasians know this, and they send teams out to help their people, these white kids and everything in these schools. They come in to make sure that they eliminate this trauma so it won't affect them as human beings and as citizens in the community. Exactly. But they don't send no teams out for us.
Oh, no.
You see,
how often do you see something like that?
Exactly. So we are reacting to trauma. We are walking PTSDs.
Yes. Yes.
Every last one. I mean, all you have to do is just sit at the bus stop and watch somebody get hit by a car, and you guilty. Exactly. You got it. You see what I'm saying? But nobody's helping us.
Yes.
Nobody is trying to address it, and we don't seem like we want the help.
Right.
And I just wanted to put that out there as far as I really feel that we as black people need to make sure that we get ourselves some kind of help.
Yes, absolutely.
To know where you stand, at least. If you bipolar, at least know you bipolar.
At least know.
For real. It's not, it's okay. Just like if you got cancer, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You want to know.
Exactly.
So you
what you're going to do, you're going to do everything you can to treat
it.
Because
I just
know that it's going to affect you and affect everyone around you. And the brother made an extremely good point. If you get a chance to, please watch the previous episode of The Black View and share it. Soak it in, see if you can identify with anything in that. And then also remember that we did include, when I say remember, some of you haven't seen it, but make sure that you look at the resources that we also provided, because those resources are something that are something you can contact and see if you can get some help for an issue that you have. And know that it's out there. There's people that are dealing with some of the same things, and you have to take control of your mental health and wellness. Because if you're not there, and you can't be there, you're not living, you're just existing. And the brother, you know, he made a episode dedicated to that. We have possibly more to come.
Oh,
We
yeah.
just want to make sure that you take in that episode of mental wellness.
There's a solution to it.
Yes.
Where you don't have to be on medication. I'm taking a class now, so once I finish it, I'm gonna be bringing it to you guys.
Yes, sounds wonderful. Yes. With that being said, y'all, we're gonna get into some more subjects. Right now, we have a talk going around town about the mayor, our good sister mayor, that has a grant initiative to change different communities such as South Shore, Inglewood, and many more. And I want to know your thoughts on this grant initiative and how you think it affects our community.
Sox preachers the man on that one.
Oh, no, I'm not. But I think it's a good initiative by that term in itself. The idea to help those particular communities is a great idea because those communities are predominantly black and overlooked and have been overlooked for a while. Those communities, so I can name them all, West Garfield, Inglewood, Auburn Gresham, and South Shore. They didn't even say Chatham, I just thought about that. But those were the main ones that they mentioned. So she's went to the different communities. She hasn't been to all of them, she went to a few of them. And the money is gonna come. My concern is how it's gonna come. At one time in the 90s, they used to have all the organizations send in their proposal, and then they'll pick a few from each community and grant them that grant. The new way they do things now, they try to combine the grants, like have all these organizations fight for this one grant. All of them. Now there's a fight in the community because they don't want you to know what their grant say and you don't know what that person's grant say, because I want them to see mine is better than yours and yours better than mine. So now they're not talking to each other. So you don't do something like that and cause more confusion and more fighting among the people. If it's going to be a grant, do it like that first. There was a grant in the 90s called the GB some kind of grant.
Yeah, remember that, yeah.
And every individual put theirs in for the grant. And then they chose who they wanted to get the grant. I forgot how the choosing was done, but there was no infighting like the one that they did in like 90, I think it's like, around 2000. And all the communities and pastors started meeting in a room. And in that room, they were saying, come on, we got to come together. We got to do this. It got to be just this one grant. So they arguing about their part that needs to be in there. He arguing about his part, that part. Then somebody else arguing about, well, we can't work with them because that's a Moor. Yeah, that's Islam. That Islam can't be in this meeting.
Yeah.
And all this, it was just going on among each other, right? Well, guess what happened to that grant?
It went away.
They didn't get it at all. They set up another organization called Children Home and Something Society, a big white organization. And everybody had to come to that white organization in Inglewood in order to qualify for that grant because the money was given to them. Why? What are they saying? Black people don't know how to get along. So we got to dispense to them this money.
We need to be supervised.
Yeah.
Right. It has to be
anyone,
supervised because we
educate-
act crazy. So the
Yes.
initiative is good.
Yes.
What they want to do to serve blighted communities and certain groups, I like that. But I'm questioning how it's going to be delivered.
And
That's
can
what I'm
anyone,
doing.
right, now I understand. Can anyone educate the viewers on a little synopsis of what this grant initiative is?
I don't know
Can I-
the name of
Can I
it.
just
but-
ask a question? Okay, when you first said that there's an initiative to give grants to these different communities.
Yeah.
Okay, so was it stated that they were giving grants to, okay, what is it, 4 or 5 communities, right? 4 or
Yeah.
5 communities. So it's
They said how much too.
Did they say how much? That's what
Yeah.
I wanted to know. Are they saying that so is the amount is a big amount and then they're gonna issue out from that big amount, or is every community going to get, divide up that amount? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Like say it's 4 communities.
Right.
And it's
One amount
$100,000. Is it gonna be
right.
4 divided into $100,000, or is it going to be distributed based on what you think or feel that each community needs?
Now,
Do we know that?
that part, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if it's based on what each community needs.
I mean, when you said
That- But I know that in order for them to dispense it, it's got to come through either an organization or certain organizations in each community, because they can't just put it in the community and it's in the air.
Right.
Somebody has to receive
Right,
it,
right,
you see, to do the work, which means that they're not going to just give it to them. They got to
right. Do something to.
write a proposal.
Okay.
You see, my thing is, I don't mind it being like that, but please don't make me, you, and you have to come together and put our heads together and write one big proposal for this one grant.
Got it.
And we can't come together. Whereas before it was like, here's this grant, you write yours, and each one of us sent
May the
ours.
best person win.
And made
Yeah.
the best person win. Like that.
Yeah.
Now we us folk gotta come together
I see.
and try to get this one grant.
Yeah, I hear all the
And
time.
we gotta
that
work
there's-
together when it comes.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
you're agreeing we can't work together?
I'm agreeing we cannot work together.
I agree with you. I hate it, but I agree with you.
Now, do I want us to work together?
Yes,
Sure.
sure, I would love that, yes.
But
Somebody-
the reality, I saw
Yes.
too many fights.
Yes.
And somebody like my mom that's been working on getting a grant, she said that she has literally seen how much that it seems like they're trying to prevent people of color from getting their money. And they just like can freely give grants to some of the, same people of their creeds. And it depends, whoever that would, qualify.
They give them to
But-
the white
But, well, yeah, the white,
community,
Hispanic,
the
I mean, there's been quite a
organizations
few
that's
in the
in the
different
That's in the
issues
black
came
community.
across. Yeah, and it's a shame, but,
And West Garfield?
there's a lot of knowledge that people share amongst themselves.
Like this white organization in here.
Yes, man, yeah.
Let's speak to that.
Before we speak on that, Sherry asks if someone can go a little bit into the grant. So it's the same neighborhood opportunity grant that Rami Emanuel pushed back in 2017. She adds some new touches to it. But more specifically, there is a total of $202 million that have been committed to the entire fund.
Oh,
But she has earmarked $30 million to be used in South and West Side, in the South and West Side initiative that we're talking about right now. But it's 10 different neighborhoods, and those 10 include Austin, Humboldt Park, North Lawndale, New City, Greater Inglewood, Auburn Gresham, South Shore, South Chicago, Roseland / the Pullman area, and the Quad communities of Brownsville, Oakland, and Kenwood.
It's deep, it still ain't Chatham. See, that's
Oh,
what
wow,
I'm
it's
saying.
still not Chatham.
Right, I know.
Right, and I grew up around Chatham, outside of the north side, so it needs some restoration if that's the goal.
But see,
So what is it?
but they do this constantly to keep us divided, to keep us fighting among each other. Why they sending these groups? Like, what's the name of this group that's in here?
Oh,
Lawrence Hall.
Lawrence Hall.
I got to put them on blast. You see what I'm saying?
I'm familiar with them.
Because they've been in the black communities sucking off the breasts of our black women. I don't mean to be vulgar.
of our community.
Of our community. Thank you. That's even better. But y'all know what I'm saying.
Nice to meet you.
They've been getting fat, in our communities, and they taking over. They just set up shop, and like the minister said, now they get the grant, and now you got to go to them in order to get a piece of the pie or a little slice or a little crumb that they throw you.
I mean, how could that be avoided? What could we do to avoid
Let
that?
me show you something. Rage is a black organization
Exactly.
in Inglewood. But you got Teamwork Inglewood. That's a white organization with black staff.
Yeah, that's how they fool
See,
you. Yeah.
Rage is not black staff. That's her idea. That was her organization that she got a grant for. But when the money come, she probably gonna have to go beg them to give it to her. When she should get it. That's what we're saying.
But they say we
Like here, ABJ should get it, you
inappropriate
see what I'm
funds.
saying?
What's that term?
But it might go to Long
Misappropriate.
Call, the white organization that got a black staff that serve the black community. That's what we say keeps happening.
And the way to solve it is Jay-Z, Kanye, and all these other folks, what's the basketball?
Millionaires,
Yes. They need to be putting together $210 million, you know, as a grant for the black community and give it to black people. You see what I'm saying? They got enough money.
And we
Well,
should
you
put
know,
our resources and do
But then
it
again,
ourselves.
it's like, because I just recently seen a post where they were
That's
saying,
exactly-
why
that's
don't
exactly
certain
what I said.
billionaires
Everything I
like
say we ain't.
P. Diddy, Jay-Z, and Birdman get together? I don't know if Birdman's a billionaire, but they have him in the picture. Get together and create their own labels so that they can have these opportunities for people and them not having to go through the other folks to get somewhere. But then we have to think about how the people even start. What are they connected to, and what type of initiative do they have in this? Because a lot of people that look like us, they're not for us, they're not with us.
That's true.
And that's just the reality, and it's a sad one, but a lot of this world has been structured for us to give up on each other and to give in to certain, you know, what is that, certain wants and needs and selling out, you know, and we're gonna leave that alone for this subject, but I will say that we are gonna have to go to the next subject, but I do wanna know
That's his
really
last
quick.
one.
Yes.
Again, you all been knowing, even the people that's listening to this show, that from the inception of this show, you know that I'm against grants, government grants, right? Not grants, government grants, right?
Understood.
So I said I love the initiative, but I would prefer that our people pool our resources and raise this money to build our community ourselves.
And
That's
it can
what
be
I
done.
believe.
I believe it can be done
It can be
also.
done.
It could definitely be done.
Every person get $5 a month. To a
You can
fund.
start like that, that's right.
I think that's beautiful. It's a beautiful
But we don't
idea.
trust each other.
Right, I was gonna
Who's
say,
gonna start it?
who is the fund? Who is
We
the
could try to
fund?
start it, but who has
In any
the...
business is a risk, and if you don't take a risk, you won't have no business. So we got to risk again, trusting somebody.
Yeah.
So yes, y'all, okay, so kind of a synopsis for that one. We have some ideas here. If any of you can soak that in and you're in a position to help us get that started, you know who to contact, Mr. Jahia Tan. And go to our YouTube page. Please like, comment, and share. And we thank you all for, you know, putting in your 2 cents for this. I'm saying that ahead of time because I'm sure somebody got something to say.
Please comment too. We
Yeah.
love your comments.
Please. We want to hear from you. We want to be able to get back to you. With that being said, y'all, we're going to move on to this next subject. And this one is a very, very interesting one. There is so much that is being said about it. And we are still trying to figure out where the heck did it come from. I heard yesterday that there is more than one strain. It's been happening over years. The coronavirus. Ooh, yes,
Talk about
boo.
that.
Okay, boo for so many reasons. I would like to touch on this. This is a touchy subject for so many reasons because we have a lot of people that, there was a sister that was actually looking at me really funny yesterday when I was chiming in on a conversation about the coronavirus. And it could have been for other reasons, you know, because there was a particular thing that the other lady was talking about and I didn't want to interrupt. So I'm a person, I try not to interrupt people's conversation, but if it's something that might move me, I might come in. Long story short, the girl was talking about this. There's some truth to some of these like rumors that I'm hearing that this is possibly something that was man-made, and she was just kind of going over some things, saying that there's a lot of propaganda that she's hearing about it. And the sister seemed to be kind of out of tune, but still trying to figure it out, while the other lady was actually disregarding the idea and saying that this is something that has been out, this is another strain. And so my whole thing is that, you know, if you're paying attention, you're paying attention. And that's just how I see it. You're going to be able to see some things that don't make sense and ask yourself what it is. I heard that there's a game called Resident Evil, and that there was a raccoon virus that broke out in Wuhan, China. And corona is raccoon in the acronym. Nevertheless, this is something that's very interesting, right? Along with the fact that they talk about Bill Gates having his
What?
millions of dollars that he put into, I mean, he said it. I mean, there's videos of him saying about population control. And this is videos that say that, don't come for me, Bill Gates. I don't know. This is what I saw, but other people have said that this is something that people have put money into.
Yeah.
Some people say artificial intelligence created it. Other people are, I mean, pretty much so much more. And then we see that it is broken out in China. I'm hearing that in Africa, that there's next to none cases.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am hearing, and this is just stuff that I'm saying, I don't want to take away from what you guys have to say in case there's anything in the matter, but I did want to kind of chime in because I've been just paying attention to this. So it's just really interesting. Of course, it's a scare. I'm hearing that every like 1920, and 20 years from that there's a pandemic or an epidemic that breaks out, and we're in 2020. And here is a pandemic, such as a coronavirus. So it's a very scary thought for those that want to travel. I have friends that are in China that were doing choreography. So the thought of them possibly being in the midst of all that was very scary. And I still got to get in touch with a few of them that I haven't yet. But I mean, I've been seeing that they've been building concentration camps for some years in America. I'm just like, what is it that they're trying to break? What is it that they're trying to do? You know, just in general, and whoever they is, whoever qualifies under that category, because it is just very sad to me to just think about the possibility that anyone can do something that atrocious to create whatever it is, whatever agenda, if that's the case. And I would say that as a humanitarian, it hurts my heart to see anybody die from something that could possibly be man-made. Or anyone not understand that this world could be a better place if we just understood that this money and power that so many people want so bad and want to attain, there's enough money, resources, and space for everyone. There can be certain things that are talked about, like, you know, when people decide to have 10, 20 children, that is their prerogative. But I do understand how some people feel like, because China used to have a thing where you're going to have one child, and that was to be able to keep the population at a certain, because they knew they had a lot of people, so they wanted to make sure it wasn't that many.
Sherry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah,
Because I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, I just want to ask just of the people here. Do anybody here know of anybody that has it or has died from it? Other than what you're seeing on TV.
Oh, no.
So how do you know it's real?
Facts.
No, this is true.
Can I speak to that real quick?
For real.
It's
how do you really know it's real?
I spoke earlier when we were in class earlier when I was lecturing, and I mentioned this actually was the topic of my lecture. And when we look at the epidemics and the pandemics that they try to put, and I'm gonna take it to a different level with here because that was focusing on black people. We're just gonna talk about whenever they put the entire in a state of fear. Right? I was talking to my great aunt the other day, and she's like, I'm not going to the family reunion. I'm not about to get on no plane to go to the family reunion. Because they keep on saying on the news that you got to do this. If you don't need to leave out the home for anything, don't leave out the house. Try to stay in the house, stay away from people. They said the same thing about Ebola. When Ebola struck. They said the same thing about the Zika virus. When Zika struck. They said the same thing about the bird flu. When the bird flu happened. So the swine flu, all of these things they said was a pandemic. There was going to be this extremely terrible epidemic.
Then all of a sudden it went away.
Then all of a sudden we just forgot about it.
Yes.
After they did some things, they did whatever they wanted to do, and then we look up and we forget about it. How many people even know what Zika was and how it affected, what neighborhood community it affected, or whatever?
So South America.
And then the other point you made, there have been studies that have came out that there was an African man who was in China. He was around people who allegedly got the disease. He caught it, but when he went to the hospital after thinking he was infected by the disease, it seemed to them like he just had a common cold. When they tested him, he had no traces of the virus in the viruses fall out of his system. So you would ask, what is it in him that stopped him from getting the disease? But we know there's Caucasians that have been affected by it and getting really sick. We know there's Asians that have caught it and getting really affected by it. But there have been no cases of black people catching it and getting terminally ill.
Yes.
So
That's
what
right.
is it that is keeping us from getting sick? I said it in my lecture earlier, a lot of people have this misinterpretation fully of what melanin is in our system.
Right.
A lot of us think it's just what makes our skin darker.
Yes.
I personally don't think that is the whole of it. I personally, and there are studies that prove it, it is what makes your pineal gland larger and smaller. It is a part of our DNA that helps to fight out foreign things. And you gotta forgive me. I was moving a moving job yesterday. I got a whole lot of dust in my system. When melanin it is all white blood cells on steroids. Is a good way to look at melanin. How white blood cells are supposed to help you fight off disease, and since we're gonna say melanin is the we're gonna say melanin is like black people are stronger than white people. So when melanin being the black blood cells are gonna do a much better job of fighting off viruses. But we have made our systems not produce enough melanin to fight, as they talk about producing white blood cells. But no one is telling black people, oh, you need to produce more melanin in your system. And they have found out that alkalinized fruit and drinking alkalinized water make you immune to the virus. They have found this out, that the virus cannot exist in an alkalinized body.
Yes.
It cannot exist because it's an RNA virus and not a DNA virus.
You know, man, that's real interesting. Go ahead, sir.
I just want us to think a little bit, you know, and like Arsenio Hall used to say,
Something to make you
something to make you say, Now, the Caucasian, his humble beginnings is in the cave with the wolves and the dogs and whatnot. And most of their viruses deals with them and their handling or association with animals.
It's funny you say that.
Syphilis and gonorrhea. Syphilis from a sheep, gonorrhea from a dog. And then when they created AIDS, it was from the tissue culture of a sheep, and then the tissue culture of a cow. And then how we get chicken pox? What was you doing to them chickens? So, I mean, everything that's dealing with this has got a whole lot to do with them and some animals and some chickens.
Even the coronavirus.
And the corona, yeah.
It's
and the bird got
animal
the flu.
based.
I don't mean
Yeah.
Now it's a coon involved in it, but it's coronavirus.
There was a video that went viral of
And
Asian
you
man
ain't
doing something
necessarily a
with a
raccoon
chicken
either.
and doing something with
Oh
pigs.
yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yes, that's
But then they want to put that out there too because
maybe they need to be put on an island with the animals.
to change the subject.
remember the views and opinions are of individuals, not the whole of the black people.
They are ours.
Personal opinions, thank you. But you know, my nephew sent me a text yesterday, and it's real interesting because every time one of these viruses show up, it's an election year.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Now check this out: SARS 2004, bird flu 2008, swine flu 2010. We know Obama was 2008. Maybe he was the bird that flew. But anyway.
Again, these are ours.
This is the black view.
Here's the
Black view.
From
That was
black
Jahid's view. Let's keep going.
2010 was the swine flu. 2012, MERS. Ebola 2014, Zika 2016,
It's all even numbers.
Ebola 2018. Like every 2 years it seemed like.
And now
2020, Corona.
Coronavirus.
So the next one will be 2022. So we can mark our calendar.
Yes.
We'll know.
It's not 22 to 24.
And
It's
that's
not
gonna be
22 to 24 because of the first one is 2004 and then 4 years from that.
up, family? This is your favorite DJ Tyrone. And in 2 weeks, I want you to mark your calendars for an event that I'm gonna be on the ones and twos throwing down like I live, and you won't wanna miss it. It's gonna be March the 22nd, that's Sunday, March the 22nd, 2020. It's gonna be a Sunday brunch with the legendary Sax Preacher and Chicago's own, the songbird herself, Miss Victoria Brady. They both will be performing live at the ABJ Community Center, located at 1818 East 71st Street, Chicago, Illinois. And it'll be from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Doors open at 2, program starts at 3 p.m. There's a $13 donation at the door, and food will be served. Vegetarian and vegan-friendly food also will be present. Vendor space is available. So if you're interested, call 773-495-1138. Again, vendor space is available. And if you're interested, call 773-495-1138. Don't meet me there, beat me there.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yes.
Our next subject is woo. Okay. About that industry,
Which one?
about the media,
Oh, the media.
about that industry, Mr. Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey.
When you hear Weinstein and Berg, you know what that is.
Yeah, Jewish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ish,
Yeah.
you know.
Even though it was Hebrews
You gotta put
at
emphasis
first.
on the ish.
I don't know what
It is
it
originally the
It was
Hebrews.
Hebrews. I don't know where they-
Nevertheless,
Yep.
he has a verdict, but compared to Bill Cosby's, do you guys think that it's fair that this man who has been proven, enough proof that he has been an excessive sexual offender, down to damn near, I think, raping, I don't know, or touching, luring, raping, propositioning, you name it. And
Sexual misconduct.
allegedly, as I would have to say, because again,
And in Hollywood, he ain't done
but
that.
it's allegedly, but it's proof.
Sure, you know what my problem is?
I have alleged, yes.
Why? He was one of the first ones that was exposed.
Yeah.
Why is it that Bill Cosby went to jail before him? That's,
Yes.
I mean, really, let's look at that.
One
just
word,
as criminals.
one of some of y'all's favorite show, POWER.
Power. Thank you.
And it is the reality. A lot of people can see this and others are oblivious. You allow the media and propaganda to tell you anything and you believe in it, soaking it in. Rather than, soaking it in for your own self and having discernment. Obviously, Bill Cosby was a problem. Outside of him being a problem, he was also a black man with too much POWER.
He ain't have enough.
Because we loved
People just like,
our Dr. Mr. Huxtable, but outside of loving the Huxtables and the Cosby Show, he still, of course, he did a plethora of films, and he was heavily involved in the HBCUs and giving money, and he was about to buy
NBC. Absolutely.
What you thinking?
Can I
You can't
insert
buy
something very
NBC.
interesting?
I'm gonna leave it alone.
That might change,
right now.
that might
I'ma let
change
the-
this conversation a little bit. When it comes to black people being forgiving of white people.
Yeah,
A special statement from Andrew White regarding the verdict of Harvey Weinstein. Andrew White is Bill Cosby's attorney. This is not shocking because these jurors will not sequestered, which gave them access to media coverage and the sentiments of public opinion. There is no way you would have anyone believe that Mr. Weinstein was going to receive a fair and impartial trial. Also, this judge showed that he wanted a conviction by sending the jurors back to deliberate after they were hung on many of the counts. Here's the question that should haunt all Americans, especially wealthy and famous men. Where do we go in this country to find fairness and impartiality in the judicial system? And where do we go in this country to find due process? Lastly, if the Me Too movement isn't just about Becky, I would challenge Me Too and ask them to go back 400 plus years and tarnish the names of those oppressors that raped slaves. This is a very sad day in the American judicial system. Now, is he defending Harvey Weinstein?
That's what I'm gonna ask.
Was it a sad day with Bill Cosby?
That's real news. That came out the
No,
mouth.
that ain't what I mean, guys.
Oh.
I'm saying it for a different reason.
Oh.
Yeah.
It sounded like he was defending him to me.
It sounded like he
I was getting
defended
offended.
and was
No.
like Harvey Weinstein shouldn't have got that many. Bro,
But
What?
When he said
That was Bill Cosby's
sad
attorney.
something and all this and that.
Interesting.
See, until we recognize that the criminal justice system to a black man and woman is a just us criminal system. It's
Ain't
not
no
set up
justice. Just us.
for us to get real justice.
Dust to dust.
Yes, it's a just us criminal system.
and to throw it in there, he
And
gonna be
we're gonna always get the short end of the stick. Look, just recently, a man who they even came to the conclusion of was innocent, they went on and executed him anyway.
Wow.
Just 2 days ago, a black man.
What?
Yes.
That's a shame.
They had came to the conclusion he was innocent.
I got
And
a
they
question,
executed.
y'all, and this is what
Everybody mad
I don't
right now. Religion,
understand.
Islam, everybody talking about it right now. If you go on Facebook, you'll see it. He just got executed.
Oh,
Is that justice?
you know what, y'all?
So we got to really, really, really pray, fast, and meditate. I put it just like that. So that we can receive the proper signs that we need in order to chart our own independent course as a people.
Right.
To do for ourselves. And when I'm saying that, I'm saying we need to be on equal footing with every other race on this planet when it comes to bartering, trading, selling, and all. Why is it that, okay, the stock market's there, every other race got something on the stock market, but an independent black man with something on the stock market, it don't exist.
Facts.
So that's not equal opportunity for us. And until we can get that, then we have to make sure that we create it for ourselves.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
Exactly.
And we gotta stop waiting on some benevolent white person to do it for us. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're prospering off of our condition. And if I was prospering off of it, I don't want to see it change or get better.
You know where I'm at?
'Cause it
bro?
wouldn't help me.
This is where I'm at. I'm feeling like we're watching a bunch of plays. Like we're watching a bunch of, like the judicial system, like is that even the system? Because here it is, when you think about, oh my gosh, I had it in my mind, excuse me. When you think about something like that, like how you said the brother who was
Yeah.
innocent that got executed.
And they said,
Is there such thing as lie detectors? Because if there are, why aren't those like the main things? I'm just saying if that was ever a thing.
That is a great question.
Why is it that the main thing is ever used? Did you do the crime? Yes or no? So I understand, okay, if it's inconclusive because people are nervous and stuff, I get it. Is there such thing? Is it, I've heard that there are high level lie detectors that outside of nervousness, they can determine whether, because somewhere in somebody's brain and all that, like if they're saying a lie, it's not the truth, so it's going to show. Why is that not used as like the forefront of like this is how we
It is, but what else?
No, I'm sure, but no, I'm talking about for everybody.
But even if it's used for us, that doesn't mean it's gonna come out.
But I'm
that
gonna
it was
say this
used.
is like,
They not
when you
gonna
think
tell us
about it, some
what
people,
happened.
right, some
Right.
lawyers, they know that they're hired to defend people that are not innocent.
absolutely.
Because that is
That's
a thing,
defensive.
that's part of the
Right.
system.
Right.
So you're gonna defend somebody, they possibly could get away with murder, rape, you name it, and they, because of their money and their
Absolutely.
ability to hire the lawyer that's going to be able to come in and give the best and know how to sway the judge and the, use the jury, the persuasiveness. So it's like, this is a play, all of it is plays, a play that's not no real system. So if we know that this is what this place is built on, our mind should be, we need to figure out how to work it and get out.
Or just come
Because-
out of it and just
Get out of it.
And get out of it if you want to make something of yourself in a grand scale. You want to make it in this world, you probably got to go through some people that you don't want to go through. You probably have to be under the, like there's some people that's the hierarchy. So that's when you talk about black people banding together and combining our resources. It's like, but even then, who do we got to get somewhere? And and a lot of times when we try to do it ourselves, like Black Wall Street and many other things, that was the past, but you seeing stuff right now, sabotage.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just, again,
We gotta
praying, but
learn
knowing
from
that God is showing us in the times that, and this is just my views. Some people don't believe in God and some people have other views, but my views, we are getting signs that are showing that certain people's time is up to be doing what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And it is important for them to get it right, to know that this power and all the stuff that you think you have, that there's no greater power. And right now, the people that have been shown to be the chosen people,
That's right.
we, as long as we wake up to that and we allow love to fill our hearts, because as we're speaking of this, we don't promote hate.
No.
We don't promote
Not
hate.
hate.
We don't promote.
We
We
just
just
give
promote the love amongst each other, and to be able to protect yourself and to know what's going on. That's all I want to say.
Jerry, I know we got to move on to another
Yeah, we
subject,
do.
but quickly, I just like to say, we have to realize that we are living in somebody else's world.
Right.
Whether you want your world, you can call your world the Chicago, the city, the state, whatever. Somebody other than us controls it, every part of it.
Right.
The education, the socialization of it, the policing, the judicial system, all of it is controlled for their benefit and not ours.
That's right.
So now the major thing is, if we understand that, then why do we think we're supposed to get a fair shake
No,
in their
no,
system?
no, because
You know what I'm saying?
the system
Why would we
builds,
even in our minds think like
it's
that?
built on corruption. So
No,
therefore,
the system is okay. The people is the one that's.
no, the people are right. When I say the system,
The system is, if they work it right and fair,
Right.
the system is not the problem. It's the people
No,
running it.
this is true, because the people that run and make
Yeah.
the
So then, why do we continue to play the game? You know, if somebody was cheating, when I was little playing baseball, I'd take my bat and ball and go home. You know what I'm saying? Why do we continue to want
There's
to
a lot of
play?
stuff I
We
don't
can
have. I
go
don't have a
home.
bank account. I don't have many things. I
But
don't.
we can go home.
I'm
But if
telling
we
you,
go to
it's
Africa,
crazy.
they got our home. They done took that too. So we took our part back and went home. China done got part of Africa. Britain done got part of Africa. It's not, the French got part of Africa. So what we got to do is, like Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, negotiate with a few states of our own. He has a movement that's a prototype of what a government should look like inside of a government. And then from that point, begin to build our kingdom of our own, and they should support us with all the monies and things we need for 25 years. All this is part of reparations, because it's to help us repair ourselves and restore us back to how we once were.
Right.
Don't pay taxes.
That's right.
So I'll
So that's a solution.
I'll eventually get a bank account with Black-owned bank. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
But I was just saying in
Say that
general,
again.
Right.
I'll eventually get a bank account with a Black-owned bank.
Oh.
But the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I've noticed
Yeah.
myself to be so out the system over the years that I'm kind of behind on a lot of things. But when I say behind, just for what, status quo, what we're used to having. But I feel good about it, because I was like, okay, I see why it doesn't make me, because there's other people that operate similar, the same.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Oh,
If you're going somewhere and nobody's following you, you're not leading, you're taking a walk.
Right, right.
And we got
I
a
would
few of
know
those
the
out here.
proper questions are ready to ask, but I still, it's like, okay, if that's
mean-
the case, it's
There's a black agenda out here. There's a couple of them. We need to grill them on the black agenda. How do you stand on this? And what do you think about this? The Nation of Islam created one,
gotcha.
and all
Yeah,
that.
because if we ever gonna start something of our own, we need to know who we will.
We need to
gotta get behind
started with,
somebody.
right?
We gotta get
I mean,
behind
because we can keep talking about it forever.
I think that's
But if we don't do
first
anything about it.
I do, and then that would be the initiative, we make that clear.
Hey, what's up, family? This is your favorite DJ Tyrone. And in 2 weeks, I want you to mark your calendars for an event that I'm gonna be on the ones and twos throwing down like I live, and you won't wanna miss it. It's gonna be March the 22nd, that's Sunday, March the 22nd, 2020. It's gonna be a Sunday brunch with the legendary Sax Preacher and Chicago's own the songbird herself, Miss Victoria Brady. They both will be performing live at the ABJ Community Center, located at 1818 East 71st Street, Chicago, Illinois. And it'll be from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Doors open at 2. Program starts at 3 p.m. There's a $13 donation at the door. And food will be served. Vegetarian and vegan-friendly food also will be present. Vendor space is available. So if you're interested, call 773-495-1138. Again, vendor space is available. And if you're interested, call 773-495-1138. Don't meet me there, beat me there.
Welcome back to the Black View, everyone, and thank you again for tuning in. Okay, so we have another subject, and it's also very touchy because you know, Grandma makes those delicious pies and cakes and cookies. If not Grandma, then yourself maybe, or you just love, you have that very special ice cream that you love, or whatever it may be.
Pineapple cream cheese.
Oh my goodness, that sounds delicious. Okay, so we got a bunch of fiends up here. This is true, including myself. But everything in moderation, y'all. The subject is sugar and salt, the silent killer. Woo.
High blood pressure and diabetes.
Yes,
Yeah,
but then
I'm about to say, is it really that silent though?
Is it silent?
Well, you know what? Just
people
to
can
get
die.
personal, I just went to the doctor and they categorized me as type 1.
They say
Diabetes.
Type 1 diabetic.
Oh, you got
Right.
about that you could do to
And so I'm on the pill.
combat that. Okay.
But when they gave me the pill the first time, I wasn't taking it. Well, not
Right.
the pill. You know what I'm
I
saying? What's wrong with this guy?
He's ignorant. Very intelligent, ignorant intelligence.
Not the
That's
pill. I
what-
mean, you know what pill. I'm talking about the
I'm being
diabetes
silly.
pill.
Just trying to help him say right.
Medicine,
I'm
okay,
being
yeah,
silly.
medicine. Diabetes
ignorant.
medicine.
Ignorant.
But I wasn't gonna take it.
Yeah.
You know, because I figured, you know, if I just stopped eating sweets, my blood sugar come down, because my blood sugar was like 527 when I went to the doctor, you know.
Yes.
And my wife thought they was gonna keep me. You know, but they sent me home and sent me with the pills or whatever. Told me I had to prick my finger and all that crap. But the thing of what I'm saying is that if I didn't go to the doctor and I just kept on with how I was going,
Yeah.
that would have took me out,
Yeah.
and it would have been silent.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming.
That's what they mean by the silent killer.
Right.
You don't
Right.
see it coming.
You don't see it
You
coming.
can't tell.
Right. The only thing that made me go to the doctor is because I kept urinating a lot, and I know that wasn't normal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, why? I can't hardly do nothing. If I
Right.
leave the house, I gotta run back in because I gotta use
Yeah.
the bathroom. You
Yeah.
know. So you have to be mindful of this stuff, and it's happening in our community because, like you said, we all love our sweets. You know?
Yes,
And,
yes.
and everything, you know, like starch.
Right.
A lot of us don't even know.
Yeah.
That it turns into sweets.
That it turns into
And
sugar.
starches such
Yeah.
as breads, rice, and all the other stuff, pastas,
Yes.
All
turn
that.
into sugar.
right.
You gotta understand that. That means that you might have had spaghetti and then afterwards had some ice cream and then had some cookies and then later on that night you had a drink,
Some chips.
some liquor,
And some chips.
and some
yeah.
chips.
Yeah.
That is all sugar. So that means you have an
Yeah.
excessive amount of sugar in your body, which leads to other diseases. And if you don't notice, your body is feeling it. You can feel the disease from eating something bad after a while. So there are certain things that I inform my people about, like moringa. Moringa is a blood sugar regulator. And so blood sugar level regulator. So that means that you take a teaspoon or two of moringa. You are then able to kind of help regulate your blood sugar levels. I wouldn't recommend to eat it to do it with sweets, but I would say if you think you had some, just kind of do that, and it helps with diabetes and treats over 300 body elements. So that's something to look into, y'all. And it'll be more than likely something that's states moringa.
Something
But
natural.
with that being said, y'all, we
Yeah, is
do
that
want to
something
look up the natural.
Yeah,
Yes,
moringa is the
natural.
number one superfood on the
Yeah.
It's
earth.
the number one superfood. It's the nature's greatest botanical. You can find it, and it's so there are seeds, but I heard that in its leaf form, which is shredded. You can find it at Culture Connection 360 400 West 71st in the Chicagoland area. You can also find it at K&T 233 East 75th, and you can find it at other health food stores.
Put them clothes on.
You can look at moringa. Yes. So right, you know.
Yes, that's right.
So just letting y'all know, this is very important to know your alternatives and things you could do. There's fruits such as soursop. You can get bitters, and these bitters treat high blood pressure. And this is why you want to be careful with the doctors and what they prescribe, because there was a meme and it said it, and I was like, you're right. It said that if they keep prescribing you something, then it means they're not curing you, because you got to keep getting the prescription, so you're not being cured. What about something that just helps cure it or put your body in and regulate your system? So we have stuff like sea moss. Sea moss is for joint health, antibacterial, antiviral. So all these things, the reason why I'm mentioning these things, because we have so many of our people that we're dealing with so much because of a lack of knowledge. And then when we know, we're addicted already, so it's very difficult to give up certain things. So the best thing to do is to do certain things in moderation, and a little bit goes a long way, like I said earlier. So make sure you're putting a little bit of good stuff in you here and there, and drink your water. Drink your water, y'all. A lot of y'all don't, like when I say y'all, people, we don't like water, or we don't do it enough.
Yeah.
Alkaline
Flush your
water.
system.
Start off with 8.5 to 9.0, and then work your way up to 10 whenever you feel like you want to. And sometimes you might be able to include that in, but alkaline water, as they say, cancer can't live in an alkaline body. It doesn't mean it's going to cure you. Some people that have cancer actually do 11, or they do 13, or do certain things in a higher alkaline level. So just throwing it out that there's alternative measures, because I love sugar, and salt is the majority of everything we eat.
Everything.
But it's still important to add something in, because even at 30 years old, I'm telling my age, this is okay. Because I tell sisters all the time that's 20, 30 years my senior, embrace that age. You're beautiful, you know that the more you age. I was having inflammation of the heart, and literally still go through things time and time again where, and I see that actually my physical body is being affected by what I eat at 30 years old, and it's shocking. So
Yeah.
let alone 30 more years, Lord willing, you want to be free of getting that type of diagnosis.
Right.
So
But let me finish telling you about this doctor's
Yeah.
experience I
Go
had.
ahead.
Now, she told me, I ain't gonna say the doctor's name, but anyway,
The story on mine.
no, we good. We got about 8 more minutes, y'all. We have to get out of here. But the doctor told me that I had to cut out the sugars, right? So she started naming stuff, can't have pasta, can't have this, can't have that, can't have that. Can't,
not even in moderation, just can't
no,
have it, period.
no, she told me to cut everything out. As far as that the sugar, which left me with, I think, salad. And then, the thing is that she said, well, you can eat chicken and stuff like that, you get your protein and this and that. No, I said, but I'm a vegetarian.
Right.
I said, I don't eat meat. She said, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh.
But this is a doctor.
I mean, because some doctors do promote meat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doctors don't.
As a
All
person,
doctors are
The reason she
vegetarian.
was saying that because if you ain't gonna eat meat, you ain't eating nothing. I'm a heritarian now,
Vegetarian.
You do look like you slimmed down.
Oh, yes, I lost about 20
Oh my
pounds.
gosh, you slimmed down. I see it.
Aeritarians are a real thing.
There is a
They are a real thing. They die most of the time.
wow. No, we're free from that.
But in diabetes,
But I do want to mention that some things are blessings in disguise. Some things need to happen, but you do want to always look at your alternatives.
but all you can eat is salad.
But here's the thing. I'm hearing that meat animal protein is good for healthy brain function.
Yeah, she told me I can't have berries.
Yes,
Yeah.
put them in your salad.
I couldn't eat no fruit. I can't have no bananas, no orange, no grapes, no fruit.
And that's the thing.
Because you know they GMOs, that's why.
Yeah, probably.
But real fruit you could eat.
Yeah, you really can.
Because
Real
that's a
food
different
way.
form of sugar
It's
than
the
cane
good sugar.
You know
It's the
what?
cane
I
sugar
highly
that's killing
recommend
us.
that you try moringa in your diet. Because something like that, being that if you can't do much, sea moss has to be in your diet because sea moss is going to be restoring those nutrients that you could be losing from not being able to have other
It has to
things.
be losing
And sea
something.
moss is a thickener, so you can have your oatmeal, different things. And
oatmeal,
they
that's
have a
what I'm
new
sorry.
sugar
Salad
at
and
KFC.
oatmeal.
It's called glycerin. It's a sugar
Jesus.
that is not sugar.
What's it
But
called?
it tastes just like sugar.
What is
It's
it?
sweet,
You got
excuse me, that's not
xylitol?
sugar.
Okay.
It's called a I'll find out. But look, I will let you know. But it is, I wish
It's not that.
I will have it probably before the end of the show.
Sweetness.
So let me do that.
We're not talking about that.
I know
Say it
there's
again.
two of them. I know one is xylitol. I forgot.
No,
the
this is
other
one that you probably haven't heard of. It's new in the market and it's actually really, it's sugar. Meaning it doesn't have that aftertaste that some of the other ones have. And this is why that's important because you can use that to cook.
I always got to take this from a different perspective, not a joke though. Black people are number one in high blood pressure and diabetes. And I don't see too many practitioners in the health field dealing with prevention. More so what I keep seeing them do is opening up dialysis
Yes, that's a definite.
instead of helping you in prevention. It's like, okay, well, we know that your kidneys gonna get affected by your high blood pressure after a while because it's like blowing a pipe or a gasket. So here, you're gonna be on dialysis real soon, you know. And then you got your diabetes. Well, then what we're gonna do, we're gonna make sure that we got these needles. We're gonna make sure we got, and they won't tell you that it's addictive and that it's only one molecule difference
From cocaine.
And that just like with cocaine, you start off with the what's it called? The powder form. Powder form cocaine. You snort it. Same way with the sugar. You start off with the granulated form, and then later on of the powder. Then later on, you switch over to the needle. So you got the needle with the cocaine, and you got the needle now with the sugar cane, which is
And
insulin.
like the late great Rick James said, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
It's a very
So if there's one molecule away, that means sugar is a hell of a drug.
and they both cans, and that's how cane killed it.
Facts.
Man, that's something. Yes. So y'all heard it. You heard some alternatives. I wish I had the name. I will make sure that I get it to him, and it will be in the description. The alternatives that you can have for your sugar and salt. Use sea salt, y'all, and black salt. It's some good salt to have. It's an artery cleanser. It's an antacid. And so much more. You can find that at the health food store on 83rd. But we'll get to that in the description as well. Much love to each and every one of you. Thank you for watching The Black View. Again, I am your host, Sherry Soul, Minister Taharka Shakur, Brenda Robinson, the wonderful sax preacher, and our wonderful director and the creator, Jahia Tom. Thank you again for viewing. Peace, love, and light. Black View. Peace.
Together, not separate, together.
Together.
The Black View would like to present a town hall meeting Saturday, April the 4th, 2020 at the ABJ Community Center located at 1818 East 71st Street, Chicago, Illinois. Let your views be heard at the live recording of the Black View Internet Talk Show. If you consider yourself to be a black leader here in the city of Chicago, this is your opportunity to put up or shut up. The doors open at 12 noon. We'll see you there.